Yeah, okay. that's not an actual authentic Viking cry at all.
No, I was going. We're becoming wolves.
Yeah,
wolves becoming men. No,
so for our audio only podcast listeners, our pupils were getting white. You know?
Yeah. No, my eyes were so bloodshot that just blood vessels bursting as my animal instincts were just ripping through my human form.
Similar experience to how I watched on this week's podcast episode of Half a Clue Movie Review, which we will be covering Robert Eggers' new film, The Northman.
This was like probably maybe my top like 3 most anticipated films of this year. I was so looking forward to this thing.
Robert Eggers, whenever that guy comes out with a film, for me, he's like becoming a new event filmmaker. Whenever he comes out with something, it's always exciting to watch. I'm like, it's like almost like Paul Thomas Anderson, where I'm like, I have to go to theaters to watch this as soon as possible.
Absolutely. I fell in love with his film. I mean, his work after The Witch.
Yeah.
I think like a lot of people, I think that movie was very polarizing for a lot of audiences. It kind of suffered from what all of his films seem to suffer from, which is like, the advertisement. Like, people were just like, how am I going to show what, like, get people to walk in to watch this creepy, atmospheric, film about a family going crazy with the witch possibly being there or is there
or not there. Yeah.
And then so they're just like, it's a scary horror film, and it's like, no, it's not. But like,
I mean, it is scary in a certain sense, more psychologically.
It's definitely it's more mental and atmospheric and like how it feels creepy.
Oh, by the way, my name is Philip, and this is Ron.
I am Ron. Hey,
or we are Philip of the Bear and Ron. You give your Viking Ron intro.
Hey.
You bitch. I overcommitted and you made me feel like a fool. Yeah. You she-witch. Yeah. As you can tell, we are big fans of Robert Eggers, and we're big fans of this film. And I agree with The Witch. We watched it together, actually, right? With Anthony.
Possibly.
Yeah, we watched that with Anthony and stuff like that.
We watched it with like 4 other people in the movie theater.
Yeah.
And like 3 of those people left.
Yeah. There's like one guy was like, what the fuck? During the specific, not to spoil the witch, but like there's a certain scene where it has to do with a character named Black Phillip.
Yes.
Yeah, and then one character was one audience member was like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, and to this day, both me and Ricardo on our phones, Philip his contact is listed as Black Phillip.
I have the Black Phillip. I think like the Funko Pop. Thing on my desk.
Yeah, we got that for you.
Yeah, that's you got that for me. Yeah, I still have to do. That film like hit me so hard at the right time.
Yeah, it's like the music, the atmosphere, everything about it. I was like, I just loved this film.
And he did it with an insanely small budget. I give it, even with this film, and when we get into budget and production design stuff, Robert Eggers has always been great at creating atmosphere with very little.
Yeah,
very minimal and stuff. But I'll say for The Lighthouse. The advertising I think is very accurate to what you got. Yeah, that one was like
it's the things that I love about all 3 of his films too. Is just like they're all period pieces. They take place in like drastically different points in history, right? And they feel so authentic and just real to their time, and however they like like. I don't know, just like it feels like this is something that would take place. That if you were to take these people out of their time period and have them watch these films, they would be completely engrossed and believe what they're seeing. And I feel like that holds very true to this particular film, The Northman.
Yes.
With one minor exception, but
right. We're gonna get into the period detail. So The Northman is about the Scandinavian legend. I think from what I remember, Scandinavian legend Amleth, which Shakespeare's Hamlet is very much based off of.
Yes.
And much like the Hamlet, or technically Shakespeare's Hamlet is much like Amleth.
Yes.
The tale is Amleth is a son of a king.
Yes.
Whose father is basically the king is murdered by his uncle Fjornr. And what's it called? And by the way, if you guys haven't noticed, we put the Northman soundtrack on this one. It's experimental.
Yeah.
With Robert Eggers, he experiments, we experiment.
Yeah, we're gonna experiment.
Fuck you for not liking us experiment. We're gonna experiment.
If it's too distracting, let us know.
Yeah, we'll still do it though, but we don't care about our audience. I'm just kidding, we do. We love you guys. Thank you guys so much. But as a result, Amleth escapes and he vows with his very famous quote, "I will avenge you, father. I will save you. I'll save you, mother.
I will kill you,
Fjolnir." And it's on a revenge quest where he grows up, becomes a berserker, and goes back to claim his vengeance against Fjolnir.
Yes. And what a vengeance it is. It's so cool. I love just like from the moment this film starts, it really kind of pulls you into this world, this time period where it's like these cold, icy winds and you see these ships pulling up and like, onto this village. And it just, I don't know, it's like it immediately engrosses you. And I love like, again, we're talking about like the historical details a little bit. I'm just going to bleed into that quickly. Like I just love the helms that they're wearing, the chainmail, the spears, the shields, all very accurate for the time. That's just really how a lot of these guys wore. Were there actual berserkers? Probably not, or at least not.
Or there might be like
depicted-
some type of variation of that.
Yeah, at least not the way they're depicted. Like dudes weren't going into to battle shirtless completely. Probably not. There's very little evidence, I'll say, to support that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not a historian, but it seems like from what I've heard, probably not.
From what I remember, he said that his justification for that is that there was records of some like extremists, very rare extremists and mercenary groups, right, that had like animal fixation or something.
Yeah, it's very possible. Which again, talking about that, like I might as well just get into the historical stuff because
go into it.
I was loving it so much. The fact that they showed that like their lifestyle, where it was based, and how often they were like even like later as he escapes into adulthood, he goes off to like basically be part of this mercenary group, this berserker mercenary group, where they're invading as far as like Russia and or early proto Russia, they say Rus and the Slavic nations and everything, where he eventually runs into Anna Taylor-Joy, and she's and they very clearly say that she's from the Birchwood and whatever, and that's like it's really cool. Just again, like it's all that feels so authentic, and eventually them even go into like Iceland, right?
Yeah.
Or is it Iceland? Or is it Greenland?
I know it's Iceland where Fjolnir is.
Yes, and that's where it's like there's really not much. It's very desolate. But striking landscapes and like sweeping, like it feels mythical, and it does to this day.
Yeah,
but
on-set location. I give props. He always tries to make it look as authentic as possible.
Yeah, so it's like I love we get these like frigid, like ice cold forests in the beginning, to like more dense vegetation of like the Slavic nations, all the way to like the sweeping open volcanic, steaming primeval landscapes of
the
Iceland,
and
all the way up to the gates of hell.
The gates of hell, which is insane. That's a huge shout out to the production designer Craig Lathrop, who was worked with him on The Witch in the Lighthouse, and even the set decorators to an extent, Niam Coulter and Pancho Chamorro. You guys really killed it with I mean technically the landscapes were already there, but let's just say, but obviously even in like when they go to the grass fields and stuff of Iceland, they added shit to kind of enhance that feel. Yeah,
and then the ships felt very authentic. The different homesteads that they're inside of, with like the thick like thatch like roofs and everything to help keep the moisture out, and even little things of like when he goes to find that sword that is like destined to him, he goes and it's like on a hill, and the ship is buried beneath the hill with like a very classic and traditional Nordic funeral, type of burial. Because oftentimes it's depicted as like they would have burning ships and stuff, which like they may or may not have. I'm not entirely sure, to be honest. They probably did in certain instances, but oftentimes they would just bury them like ship and all on land, bury it under
that makes
there.
sense, because that ship is like their vessel to what I mean,
to the afterlife, and they would put stuff there, so they would just bury it under like a mound, which is where a lot of like Viking artifacts that we find today have been preserved so well, because they're like that. And also this like the intricate like designs, it's just so cool. It's like there's artwork that is really cool, and there's no pointy helms, thank God.
No, I'm glad with that. And I give props to, because I was watching stuff with Linda Muir, who's a costume designer, who also did The Witch in the Lighthouse. As you can tell, he only uses people that he's worked with before, and I don't know if they're sick of him at this point. There's like super hyper accurate details, but yeah, she was talking about that like she had to like basically like everyone had to destroy their preconceived notions of Vikings and how it's depicted, and like whether it's video games, books, and previous movies. and then just use it completely from like old Scandinavian texts or the historical records and everything. So I do appreciate that quite a bit.
That's cool. And again, it's very historically authentic is what it feels like in a lot of different ways.
Even despite the fantastical elements, because of the historical accuracy, it kind of felt grounded.
Yeah, exactly. It grounds themselves in that realistic, the realism in the sense that like these people were highly religious and mythical. Even like the one part where they see like the corpses like nailed, whatever, and then they're like, oh my gosh, like is it like Christians?
Yeah,
because they're like they worship
Christian
a corpse.
swines.
Yeah, they worship like a corpse that's been nailed to like a piece of wood, which is often how they viewed Christians. Is they're like just this weirdo religion who engaged in cannibalism, that they like ate the body of their dead lord, and they're just like, that's crazy, man. It's just like to them, and again, it's always kind of back and forth how Christians depicted
so
Nordic nations.
Let's get into that. I really like how Nordic culture is portrayed, and also like the importance of religion.
Yes.
Religion in this one, and how it's such a major driving factor in this story, whether it's like the fates told by the witches, whether it's the religious nature of how these berserkers become wolves, or even with Fjornar and his religious priests that help him connect with Freya through blood and earth and plants. Yeah. And how they almost use all of that to inform their actions, decisions, or how they jump to conclusions. How integrated that shit is. Super well. Like more than most Viking culture-based media that I've seen.
Yeah, it's like I've only seen parts of the show Vikings. Yeah. But one of the things that like just bugs me about it is one, again, like the little details of like, I think it is cool like how they show like they are very religious there too, from what I've seen, and that's cool. But this one kind of shows just how much more elaborate it seems. Like that's really dope. Like it reminds me of like HBO series Rome. They got into real like the kind of cultish nature of like a lot of the religions and how like deeply engrossed it was into them. And it's like, yes, these were very religious, paranoid, and often like what do they say? Like God-fearing people, except these gods were like, the woods and like Odin and everything, which is dope.
And how that like religion informs their lives, right?
Absolutely, yeah. It's like, this is like they're there's this superstitious in a lot of ways. And a lot of times these people believed in other gods as well. Yeah. They believed that the Roman gods were just as real as their gods, or the Christian God was as real as their God too. They just had to like, but our gods are, we're going to
are the best, or they just don't affect our lands.
Yeah. So that's just so cool. And it's like, again, it's the fact that like it brings the striking imagery of like the Valkyrie riding off towards like Valhalla and everything. It's like, oh, that's so cool.
That's amazing.
This feels like, the most definitive Viking film that we've had so far. Like, I can't even think of anything else that even is close to this.
No, nothing. There's nothing. And the thing is, there's so much justification for that because one, their culture, and two, it's like it's easily within their mindset, right? Yeah. So it could be real or it could not be, right? It's up to you. I prefer to think within the context of this film, it is happening. Yeah. But then someone with a very realistic perspective could be like, this is just how they perceive this event. There's normal, and there's enough story elements that it could be that way where they're just doing everything. They're doing everything here as like normal humans would do. Yeah. But then they're imagining that their help is from external otherworldly forces, like the Valkyrie with to Valhalla, whether it's the ravens, being the spirit of his dad's vengeance. Yeah.
Or also being directly connected to Odin.
To Odin, pretty much.
Who had his two ravens.
Yeah. So cool. It's like shit like that's cool. Like that's the shit that I want from like a Viking. So I want to know their religion. I want to know how they eat. I want to know how their farm life is. The structural class war system. Yeah. And he does all of that. But the thing about it with differentiation between this and just other meandering narratives is that he integrates into the narrative and how the characters respond to situation based on their culture. Yeah. Yeah. Kind of like when Fjornar his son dies, his eldest son, who I think was supposed to be played by Peter Skarsgård, which probably would have been better.
That would have been so cool.
Yeah, but I'll say this: the guy they casted does look like Fjornar.
Yeah, yeah. He looks more like him, and he looks like his annoying entitled son. Yeah. I love when they first show him as an adult, and he's like training with the other guys, and the other guys knock him on his ass, and he's just like and he gets mad and like wimps away.
Yeah.
It reminds me of like this film reminded me of Gladiator in a lot of ways, like the revenge-driven storyline, the fantastic, like slightly fantastical elements, but like mostly being grounded in historical realism for the most part. And it's just like that reminds me of like Commodus's scene where he's like fighting off dudes, except they kind of show him kind of being more badass as he's fighting dudes. But anyway, sorry.
I agree with that. If only if Commodus died. Really, what's it called? I what's it called? This is like definitely a more surrealistic version of the Gladiator.
It's like if Saturn and the other Greek and / Roman pantheon had been around or just largely more influential, which would be cool. But for that, watch HBO's Rome.
Please do. It's great. Maybe we'll cover on a classic review. We don't know. Let us know. I think what's called his name, the older son named Thorir. So Thorir the Proud.
Okay.
Right. And he's played by Gustav Lind. I think relatively he did a pretty good job.
Yeah.
I was easily convinced of how annoying he was. But also, when they smash cut to a close up of his face, seeing his dead friends on the thing, like surprisingly emotional. Added a new depth to his characters. Like even though he's an asshole, he does have very strong loyalties to his friends.
Yeah,
I do like that every character has something different to them. Like a character that we believe in a positive life has like a darker edge to him. Like Nicole Kidman's mom character, Queen Gudrun.
Fascinating. And they make her they give her like there's obviously a mix of different because we're in a cyclical nature, so it just kind of like Shakespeare was influenced by the Nordic legends and stuff.
Yeah.
Now the Nordic legends have been influenced by Shakespeare, as you can kind of see a bit of like the Lady Macbeth inside of like what's it called, Queen Amleth's character, where now she's was kind of pulling the strings. She's more of like the villain. Really,
Queen Gudrun.
Oh, Gudrun, sorry.
Yeah, Amleth is.
Amleth is
the main guy.
Yeah.
I am Amleth. I am vengeance.
Yeah, Batman over here was like really mad.
Yeah, he was great.
But no, like in the sense that like she was kind of more pulling the strings, and she begged for Fjornir to like kill his brother and take the throne and whatever, and it's like that's just really cool. I like the fact
and we find out more things about Ethan Hawke's King character, King Arvindale, right?
Yes.
And then I was like, because we thought of him as a more positive light. I love that they hint, because when I get into rewatch, and I'll talk more about that, but they hint at like the discord between their marriage, right? When he refuses to basically lay with her, right?
Yeah, consummate or whatever, be with. She's like, it's been so long, we haven't been together, like let's go join each other or whatever. And he's just like, I got better things to do.
Yeah. Can you imagine? Can you imagine like if he did consummate with her? Would she have went to? Because that night she went to Fiona.
Yeah, it feels like that was the final straw where she's like, all right, this guy's got to die,
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's like, again, you see him as like, oh, he's a loving father and a great king, but he's clearly not,
No, he's
perfectly great.
Yeah, he's almost too stubborn to his beliefs that affected his marriage and caused his downfall. Yeah. And also on top of that, we find out that basically Amleth was a product of rape. Yeah, because she's a slave and she was raping, and then so we find out that there is while he is honorable in the Viking tradition, but he is very morally bankrupt. Yeah. But then Fiona is dishonorable in the Viking tradition, but he's morally, for the most part, like on a higher standard than most Viking chieftains.
Yeah. It's like, again, you have to like place them for their time and their place, because like there's a scene. Which I did like they showed after they raid that one town in Rus where they're like, just slaughtering people, stealing stealing the women, and
putting
the
all the kids in the fucking barn. It was just the kids.
Yeah.
Which
I'll be completely honest, I don't know if that's totally historically accurate. I feel like they could have been sold as slaves or something. They were like babies, like maybe,
but they were really small
sound
kids.
any better.
I could see why though, because like I said, like their market value as slaves are lower.
Yeah,
right, because they want immediate uses for the slaves.
Yeah, they want like women and men who are capable of like actually doing labor.
And they don't want to raise
stuff.
Kids, and obviously, and then also they don't want the kids to be come back for vengeance.
Yeah. So it's like, again, I like that they showed that like very brutal and realistic part of that culture and life that just was a reality at the time.
Yeah.
And it's it's not necessarily like it's shown as like a negative. Not it is shown as like this is bad, but like in terms of these characters' point of views, we're like this is just part of life. This is just what it is, the reality of the situation. I think that I'm glad that they showed that part of it. But yeah, again, someone like what's it called, Fjornir, who's like. He seems like he just kind of wants a quiet life. He's not necessarily that bad of a guy. Yeah, like he killed his own brother, which is fucked up. But like at the same time, it's like
his brother seemed like a piece of shit. He really did.
His brother was probably an asshole. You don't know exactly what else he did.
Yeah. To be fair, Fiona also fucked up with Willem Dafoe's character, which was also I really fucking loved his character. He played the Jess. I am looking it up right now.
It's just
Hymir the Fool.
Hymir.
And then, and the fact like he killed him and gouged his eyeballs and stuff.
Yeah.
And okay, so
cut out his tongue
because I was able to rewatch it for the podcast and rewatching the scene where Fiona like it puts this film actually works well in a rewatch because now once you find out about the queen's true motivations and her role in this conspiracy against or not conspiracy the what's it called the assassination against the king. When you rewatch that scene, it's like clearly you could tell that there was some sexual tension or something between the two characters. There's a history the way that he kissed it, and even like when he held his brother's hand, like it was very off-putting.
Yeah, and also like the what's it called, Willem Dafoe's character Hymir. He even like calls it out, like, "Hey, this guy's screwing your wife or whatever."
Basically he's just like,
and then he gets like really angry about it, like, "Hey, don't say that," or whatever. And it's like it's probably something was happening.
Something was happening, which is cool. And also seeing that scene with the queen with the king and the consummation stuff. I was kind of like watching that scene, like she's looking like she's pacing his entire body, and I saw her eyesight is looking directly at the wound like almost half the time.
Yeah, like how serious is that?
Yeah, I'm thinking like,
are you gonna die?
There's subtlety in performance. And Nicole Kidman, not gonna lie, I wasn't the biggest fan of her casting initially because I was like, she's a little too famous, right? A little too famous. But she worked in the film. Watching it, she has like proven to me.
Yeah,
but she was my favorite part.
Ethan Hawke.
Ethan Hawke. Something about Ethan Hawke is like that guy like just blends into things super well.
Yeah,
right. Like, and he's become way more of like an indie performer, artsy fartsy art performer.
This may be one of my favorite Nicole Kidman performances like in a while.
You didn't like her Academy Award winning Academy Award nominated performance in as Lucy?
Not really.
Really? What? Lucille Ball.
But
Lucille Ball, right? That's
Lucille Ball. Ethan Hawke, I thought he was cool too. I liked him. I didn't. It was short. I think he adds a lot to it. Yeah, it's just like he didn't have as much. Like I was hoping for more from him, which is
which is probably where the cutscenes are. I'm gonna buy this on like Blu-ray and 4K, whatever for sure.
Apparently, Robert Eggers has like
20 plus minutes.
Yeah, 20 plus minutes of extra footage for this film that had to be cut because the studio got a little nervous, which I understand.
I get it.
But like, I would love to see that.
My dad, while watching it, he was like, he got a little he already got antsy in the beginning. He was like, when is this guy gonna die, right? And I was just like, oh, he actually dies soon. Like, I guess he just thought it was gonna be a slow burn. And then once he died, he's like, oh, like he was so happy. He's like, yeah, he's dying. Because like I told him it was based off Hamlet. Oh, so the dad's gonna die.
Yeah. See, I didn't know it was based off of Hamlet. I mean, you kind of get that basic impression from the trailer because you understand
Hamlet
the
is based
concept.
off
Amleth. The other way around. Yeah, but the basic idea of like, okay, this guy, his father, his uncle kills his father, he steals the kingdom or whatever, and he's coming back for his vengeance. That basic idea has been obviously it's a very old tale.
I just thought about it too. If you rearrange letters, Amleth is Hamlet.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
Oh, that Shakespeare.
I know. He thinks he's so clever.
Yeah, he's so clever, isn't he? Huh?
What's it called?
I swear, if he was in this room right now,
I know, just fucking teach him like, you motherfucker. I'm just kidding. No, I love Hamlet. So what's it called? Fuck. Maybe I wish we watched Hamlet.
Lion King or
no? What's it called? No, not like it. Well, Hamlet, like the Kenneth Branagh Hamlet, and then we did a review of that, but it's fine. What's it called? So I kind of, for me, that's probably my only negative. Like I wanted to see more of the Viking culture in the first 20 minutes, see more of their relation. I mean, it's nice, it's efficient, and we got to the point.
Yeah.
But I think there was like in those 20 minutes that maybe we could have seen.
If anything, it kind of messes with the pacing a little bit because it starts off like fairly quickly, you know?
Yeah.
Like the gas pedal, and then it lets off like for like the second act, kind of meanders for a bit from when he is like as an adult.
Yeah.
With the whole like, you know, where he's storming that town and everything until eventually he decides to go back, you know, with them and everything. Or like, I don't know, like even when he goes back, it's not immediate. He's like kind of slowly integrated into their society.
And he's
like,
slowly plotting against, seeing
like,
what he could do, everything to gain their trust, to see who to kill, how to freak them out, to get the sword.
Yeah, it slows down a bit, but that doesn't necessarily, not like in a bad way.
No, in an important way. Necessary. Like he's plotting.
Yeah, like you get to see him like slowly build up his skills and, you know, acquiring the sword and the knowledge of what to do and everything before he finally is enacting his revenge. And it's totally necessary. It makes it that much more kind of satisfying and tragic. Yeah. Because at the same time, he's falling in love with Olga, played by Anya Taylor-Joy, which we haven't even mentioned yet. Really.
Oh, no, you mentioned earlier.
Briefly, but now it's like really shining a light that like she kills it. I love Anya Taylor-Joy in like pretty much everything. With the exception of maybe New Mutants.
Yeah, I don't even blame her for that.
But it's not her
whole
fault.
Film.
But in that one, she has like kind of that like Slavic accent.
See, I think maybe for that it's probably like, because they probably do multiple takes.
Yeah.
And they just chose like the weirdest takes to choose from her. Kind of like with Marion Cotillard. Yeah. So I had a take of my death scene in Dark Knight Rises where it's just slow and my eyes like actually just stay open like this. But for some reason, for pacing reasons, they just chose the one. And that was she said that was like a practice take.
Oh God, they chose the worst take of her death in the Dark Knight Rises, where she just like people giggled. Anyway, but no, because she had done she did like a Russian accent, like, you know, Slavic kind of Russian accent in New Mutants, and it was not great. Honestly, I was like, oof.
Sometimes it's good, and sometimes it just like wasn't there.
Yeah,
and I think that had to do with like but this one is like you got a proper director who chooses the best takes to represent your fucking performers.
Who's obsessed with accents too, by the way. So I think he probably tried to get the best out of her in this one, and I think it was a great job.
Yes. Yeah. It was what's it called? God, this whole thing is like we're back to like the performance of Nicole Kidman. Or actually, like, you know, Anya Taylor, like the female the characters were always like, and this one was particularly great. Like Anya Taylor-Joy as like she was never like at one point damsel in distress kind of, but they were both they saved each other for.
She was smart, she was cunning, she was helping him plan stuff. She was an active member.
Participant, which I like different from like Ophelia and Hamlet, where she was a victim of what
she's
happened.
Just like, oh, help me. He's like, no. She's like,
no, let me put the mushrooms in the fucking thing.
She's like, here, let me help you. Let's figure this out. And then eventually she's like the voice of reason, who's like, look, just forget this, man. Forget. And I love how much this film really focuses on death, fatalism, and like
predestination and free will.
Yeah, exactly. It's like how much of this is truly his fate? Is he just acting all this out? He's definitely taking the opportunity. He's like, I got to go do this thing. This is my fate. And ultimately, him deciding to kind of just become a victim of it, which is unfortunate.
It is unfortunate because like pretty much like if like the Bjork as like the she witch or whatever, she says the entire plot of the film. Like early on, she's like, what you're going to do is you're going to get a sword. You're going to go and you're going to cause some shit in Iceland. You're going to fight against your Uncle Fjordur in the gates of hell, like a volcanic island, burning lake. Yeah. And on top of that, there's going to be like a hot lady, Olga, where you're going to have like kids with or whatever.
And her kids will go on to like basically become
the maiden.
Like I think her daughter's the one who's
becomes a maiden king. She's a maiden king because the Bjork's character specifically says that. Yeah. So like she already mentioned like the female maiden king early on, and watching it again, I thought it was cool. Like, oh shit, okay, so this really was just like all set up. And stuff like that.
And they show the tree of death,
which I love the family tree and all that shit.
It's so cool.
I did like that. Like watching it again, I felt like, you know, like there's been complaints that it's just a very simplistic revenge story, and in some ways it is on a surface level.
Yeah,
and that's fine.
The basic
that's focus.
Plot is is very simple.
But then there's like a lot behind it with like it's commentary on fatalism, right? Yeah. It's like technically it is free will because they're acting on their free will to accept this fate, but also at the same time this fate is determined, like driving their free will based on all these witches or external otherworldly forces that are telling him that this is or guiding him through this path.
Yeah, because the truth is, they could have probably just stayed on that ship, gone back to the mainland, and gone to live their life, you know, pretty much anywhere else, and they would have most likely have been fine.
Yeah, like it'd be very hard for Fjolnir to find them.
Yeah. Fjolnir doesn't have that many men.
No, they were all
him.
fucking killed.
Yeah, he's got like a few people. That's it. Maybe the younger brother will try to find him someday. It's possible.
It's possible.
You know, so I think in his mind, that's what he's thinking. He's like, this again, it's like it's a part of the culture is he believes that he has this unfinished business and everything that will stay with him and his family.
Thread of fate.
Yeah.
Thread of fate. He's just constantly, you know, going back to that.
Yeah.
And he also, it's like
very Shakespearean and very very like a part of that like a mythological kind of tale where the hero is always, you know, really just attached to their fate no matter what. This is what's going to happen. And how do you break out of it? And possibly he could have, but we just don't know because he chose to face his fate head on.
Yeah, I completely agree with that because it's like not just him. It's like it's also like the legacy aspect of the inheritance, right? Of like what they inherited, not just like money or the titles, but what they inherited trait wise.
Yeah,
from their dad. So his dad also had a fatalistic perspective, always telling everybody, "I will die in battle by the sword. I will die in battle by the sword." And he's saying like a mantra. It's self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah, and he ends up dying.
Exactly, he ends up by the sword, and he passed that on to his son, not just his like skills or temper and stuff like that, but that self-fulfilling prophecy of "I will die by the sword." Like, and then, and once he adopted, he fulfilled it too. Like as you were talking about, like, he could have been fine if he just went with Olga.
Because that's a big thing is they give him that, they tell him you will have a choice. At one point, there will be a choice. Yeah, kindness for your kins or hatred for your enemies.
Yeah, and
he chooses
both.
Yeah, he's like, I get to choose both, and it's like no,
it's just hatred for your enemies.
Yeah, he chose the enemies, enemies. No, he chose his enemies' death, and he achieved that. And unfortunately, now his kids are going to be grown up. Raised without a father.
Yeah, but I guess in his eyes, it's like he's protecting them, right? Because
his
kids, and in a weird way, yes, he did. Like there is nobody that's gonna come after them now. That is true.
No,
and also,
he wiped out. He killed his mom and his younger brother.
Everybody, like literally everybody.
Yeah.
And Amleth got his wish of dying by the sword and getting to the gates of Valhalla. So in his perspective, it was a happy ending.
Yeah,
but. And like the way I see it, it is tragic. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, it's like tragic, like how much he bought into the fatalistic idea of what his life needs to be. Where it's like he warps his free will into bending into what fate has willed for him. It's cool. It's I like that. It's like that's something to explore. Who knows? Like there's essays and stuff that'll be written about this. There's a lot more than meets the eyes. I really think people should consider this more than this simplistic, revenge tale.
Honestly, I've been itching to rewatch it. I just haven't had the right time, I guess, to do it. But like, I'm already want to rewatch it to get back in to see stuff that I missed and everything else that it's a film that demands rewatch, which is so great.
I did, yeah. At first when I watched this, I was like easily my least favorite of the three. But watching it again, I'm kind of like, I don't know. I mean, it held up pretty well. I know there was a compromise.
Yeah.
But even for a compromise film, and by the way, the budget was like $75 million after tax rebates. That's insane that he was able to do this for $75 million.
That is crazy.
Like, okay, let's talk about the lighting real quick before we wrap up this review.
Yeah.
So the cinematographer, Jarian Blaschke, the cinematographer, also The Witch and the Lighthouse. Also, once again, he goes back to the well of same creatives.
Yeah.
And he also got an Academy Award nomination for The Lighthouse, so thank God.
Yeah.
I really hope he gets one for this, but Jesus Christ, the use of natural lights and single source lighting, and I don't know if like they added some LEDs. I really doubt it. It looked pretty much all natural lighting just from the fire. It looked
very natural, yeah. Which, again, a lot like The Witch.
Yeah, and it's something that's like what, and then they never go what's it called? As our friend Jeremy says, there's no unmotivated lighting, right?
Yeah. All seemed very motivated. Even what I like too is like when they show the nighttime scenes when he's sneaking around. It's very low light, but it's not like too dark where it's like I can't see anything. It's like you can kind of see what he sees, and it's more limiting because you would know like in real life this place would be dark as shit.
Yeah. But there's like you can see from like whatever's lit by the torch or the
moon.
Fire, the moon.
Yeah.
So like that part was I really appreciated that it added more immersion to it, and it also made things fucking beautiful.
Yeah.
beautiful and
sorry.
hypnotic.
Yeah, talking again, like the scene where he goes into the mound, to the grave of that like fallen king or whatever, with like the mythical sword that can only be unsheathed by moonlight or in moonlight.
Yeah.
Just so badass.
So badass.
But it's just such a cool thing. It really made me want to. I've been playing Elden Ring.
Yes,
I really want to go back and play more Elden Ring.
I know. It's
as soon as this recording is over, I'm probably gonna play some Elden Ring.
Buddy. Whoa, you know what you gotta do.
So we got. I have to watch fucking Russian doll. But yeah. Anyway, so like it's really cool. It's like such a cool surrealist moment where he goes in and he battles this creature. I guess in his mind or possibly real, and like it's frozen by moonlight. Just so cool. But again, that lighting where it's like that single source like coming down from
and it was
above.
also a plot device, and that's how it defeats the fallen king.
Awesome.
That's like genius. I'm like, I'm about to rip on my shirt and go blah, 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 what's it called? Jarin, whatever. And the music by Robin Carolan and Sebastian Gainsborough, also known as solo artist as Vessel. Where, as you can tell, the soundtrack has been playing through the entire thing. Way too fucking immersed with, like, I don't like the sounds, the bass. I don't know how to describe it. I'm not like a musical expert on that.
It's different. Like, I'm glad he branched out. Like, he'd worked with Mark Corvin beforehand for The Witch in the Lighthouse, which were perfect for those films that are like more horror,
it's a more stringy score to it, right?
Stringer, high
strung type of score.
Tension. There's like a metallic kind of like real, like, there's a whole thing about like the nightmare machine or whatever the music that is comes out of this like creepy thing. But this film is different.
This film has like a more guttural, like fucking beastly quality to the music.
Yes,
that I love.
Which is necessary for like the plot and the characters and everything. So he switched it up.
And
I was a little nervous, but I think it paid off fantastically.
And I know Robert Eggers wrote a lot of this part of the basic story, but I love that he reached out to I know SJON. I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce his name. Sean. He's he got an Icelandic poet, novelist, and lyricist who actually works with Björk, and he co-wrote Lamb, and to help with like the accuracy of the Scandinavian language and the text and the accents and stuff.
Yeah, because even the accents, it's a very tough accent. It's like kind of they roll their tongues a lot, and it's a hard thing to pull off. But I mean, obviously Alexander Skarsgård is Swedish.
He could do anything. He could. To be fair, I think that guy could do anything.
Yeah. And I'm sure like it's not that far off from their actual like Norseman relatives and stuff, which is really cool.
I love that the fucking mountain was there.
Yeah,
the mountain was great.
Yeah, not in a very I guess I don't know. He didn't have much to do, but I mean, it was great.
It was a good cameo. Yeah. Oh, and then that Oedipus complex scene, which is like for Big Little Lies fan, that was weird to watch because they played a couple in Big Little Lies, and then here they're mother and son, and they kiss.
Oh yeah, that was very uncomfortable.
I was just like, this is so weird. As like just whatever. Oh my god. Oh, any last minute thoughts?
No, I think that's it.
Dude, I'm like right now torn in the rating. I don't know. Are you feeling this? Like I've been dreading about the rating right now.
It's like it's as time has gone on since I've watched it. It keeps slipping higher and higher in my rankings. Yeah. So I'll just give my rating for what I think it is today, right now, as of watching this. And
I think we might have the same rating. You want to say it?
I'm gonna put it on the shelf.
Okay. Oh, damn. I was gonna do a countdown. You ruined the countdown, bitch. That's good. It is okay for me. It's on the shelf. I don't think it's quite in the museum yet. For now, it might get there. I agree with you. It might get there someday.
Yeah. I don't know yet. Yeah, it's like I have to rewatch it. I don't even know where it stands amongst the other films at the moment. His other two films. But man, am I excited to see anything that he comes out with next.
Nosferatu,
a trilogy, a fantastic trilogy of like his first films that I can't like. I'm just so excited. It's like him, Jordan Peele, Ari Aster, Alex Garland, like all of their films. They're just like this new wave generation of fascinating
visionary filmmakers.
Filmmakers who are just gonna break that new ground. I can't wait to see it. So I'm
excited. I what's it called? Like I said, if his next film is Nosferatu, but she said that it is confirmed in development.
I'm so excited.
So I'm just like, fuck yes, dude. I'm like,
Yeah.
Please let it be amazing.
I don't care that there's been like 3 Nosferatu.
It doesn't matter. It's Robert Eggers doing it.
Yeah, I want to see what Robert Eggers'
Eggers
version of it.
Dude, Robert Eggers could make like a film about like toilets, and I'll be like, what is he gonna? What fascinating history about toilets?
Say
about the
toilets, dude.
Yeah, and I bet you it's just gonna be about like what's it called, the dark capitalistic story about how toilets were made, and it'd be black and white, and they're plunging it, and the only color is the red of the toilet, red of the plunger. Dude, you know what? I want to see a Robert Eggers like fucking what, a plumber or toilet movie. You know what? Enough of that rant. Thank you guys so much. Thank you for watching so many of our videos. We're what's it called? Like I said, we're trying to pick up the pace back again.
Yes,
and new exciting things will come. And we have new ideas developing. So let us know what you guys think. Let us know if you guys have any suggestions. Like and subscribe. And thank you guys so much.
Yeah, thank you for listening. We love you guys. Goodbye. And one last Viking grunt, just as you can, as we.
Bye, guys.